In this video, we are going to be looking at the true crime story of Derico Nwamama, the most dangerous and dreaded armed robber in Igbo history, and how he was apprehended and executed by Bakassi boys. Okudili Ndigwe, popularly known as Derico Nwamama, was a Nigerian armed robber and bandit. He terrorized Anambra State in the southeastern part of Nigeria from 2000 until he was apprehended by the Bakassi boys in 2001. Derico Nwamama started off as a pickpocket and street urchin. He later transformed into an armed robber during the tenure of Governor Chinwoke Mbadinuju at the age of 22 years old. He started off by robbing market women and banks. He was reported to have killed about 25 policemen and at least 100 civilians during his lifetime. To many Nigerians, the name Derico Nwamama represents chilling terror. Nigeria has had her fair share of notable armed robbers like Dr. Ishola Onyenusi and Abiodun Egunjobi, who terrorized the entire southwest, Lawrence Anene, who dealt with the entire south, and here is the story of Derico Nwamama, who held the southeast to a standstill, especially Anambra State. His real name is Okudili Ndigwe, popularly known as Derico Nwamama. He started out as a street urchin in Onitsha, then later graduated to a pickpocket and then to a dreaded criminal, to the extent that just a mere mention of his name sent shivers down the spines of every single human being in the entire southeastern region of Nigeria. Indeed, long before Derico Nwamama became famous for his exploit in the city of Onitsha, the entire Anambra State was under the control of another ruthless, merciless, and cold-blooded armed robber by the name Shejina. Under the reign of Shejina and his gang, all residents of Onitsha were living in fear. In fact, a policeman once told me a horrifying story about Shejina. He stated that on the 16th of February 1999, 2 days after Valentine's celebration, Shejina, acting on a tip-off, besieged a family in Onitsha, hoping to get money from the man of the house. But unfortunately, the man didn't come home with money. He had to go to the bank before going home. Shejina became so enraged that he grabbed the man's 4-month-old son, threatened to throw the baby from a 3-story building. And when the man and his wife weren't forthcoming with his demand, he flung the baby from 3-story building and shot the man twice in the head. In fact, reports have it that he forced families to have sex in front of him for his own amusement. He forced fathers to sleep with their daughters and mothers to sleep with their sons. Refusal means death. Derico and Shejina were very good friends at that time and also colleagues in the armed robbery business, a friendship that started during the famous Umuleri/Aguleri War. But Derico was not based in Onitsha then. He was based in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory of Nigeria, and only visited the southeast from time to time to carry out his robbery operations with maximum terror. And after raining a torrent of bullets and gunfire upon the helpless and ill-equipped officers of the Nigerian police and defenseless Nigerians, he would speed back to his safe home with his loot saved on the laps of power, luxury, and comfort. But according to reports, Wahala started in November 1999 when the then Obi of Onitsha, His Royal Highness Obi Ofala Okagwe, relied on Onitsha Ado youths to help cope the ever-rising crime in the city, to enable indigents who ran away to return for the Christmas celebration of that year. Onitsha Ado youth then sat together with some of the notorious armed robbers to know how to settle them and have peace return to the city of Onitsha. Shejina and Derico Nwamama were present in the meeting, but after the meeting, the deadly Shejina refused to stand down. In fact, he attacked some members of the Ado youth and became even more ruthless in the entire state. Ado youth sought the help of his bosom friend Derico, but it did not yield much fruit. So they decided to give him a taste of his own medicine. They liaised with Derico Nwamama and some special police officers to raid Shejina and his gang. The operation was not totally successful because Shejina was not present at the time, but members of his gang were rounded up and sent to the central police station in Onitsha. When Shejina learned what happened, he felt betrayed by his bosom friend Derico, and without thinking about the consequences, called on his right-hand man, who also doubled as his bike man, Amobi, to take him straight to Derico's parents' house. On getting there, he met Derico's father and decorated the man with lots of bullets. Derico heard about it and set out for revenge immediately. He ran into Shejina close to Emmanuel Church at Ugunokpomba Road in Onitsha and pumped in lots of bullets into the great Shejina, and the Iroko of the underworld fell into a gutter. In fact, when he was shooting Shejina, bullets did not penetrate him because he had magical power. So Derico Nwamama also brought his own magical power and then did some incantation. That was when he was able to shoot at Shejina and the gun penetrated into him. Derico then put Shejina into a wheelbarrow and wheeled him to the police station at Isiokwe in Onitsha. An unconfirmed report claimed that Shejina didn't die on the spot, that while in the wheelbarrow, he begged Derico to kill him and not take him to the police station alive. Derico then obliged him and popped in one final shot to end the evil reign of one of Nigeria's meanest criminals ever lived in the planet. On getting to the police station, officers were already dancing and celebrating. They lifted Derico up as their hero and celebrated him as the king of the town. Little did they know that they just crowned a more wicked soul, the king and protector of Onitsha. After the death of Shejina, Derico Nwamama became the undisputed emperor of terror in the land. The entire Anambra state was in the soup, and the environs was not to be spared too. At some point, Derico Nwamama used the town of Umulere as his hideout. From there, he would issue threatening messages to the police that they would pay for killing members of his gang. He also maintained bases in other towns like Agbo, Benin, and Asaba. Indeed, the traders in Onitsha could not sleep in peace while many slept with one eye open. Derico sacked commercial banks in Onitsha, cutting away millions of naira. Travelers who had to pass through the state held their breath, expecting the hoodlums to strike at any time. The then governor of Anambra State, Chinwoke Mbadinuju, became an old man overnight with worries on how to handle the menace of Derico Nwamama. He was described as the personification of terror, from Nnewi to Mkpo, down to Onitsha, up to Asaba, from the villages in Umuleri to towns in Ihiala. The old and the young, men and women, children, were terrified at the mere whisper of Derico Nwamama. In fact, he was a nightmare in the whole Igbo land. He took over people's land, businesses, wives, including lands belonged to all his family members. He got away with anything because even the police were scared of him. At that time, he was said to be invisible and could not be arrested. He has the power to vanish into the air. According to reports, Derico Nwamama killed over 200 people, including 25 police officers, whose life he mercilessly wasted. He was a master of countless bus robbery and will not blink twice before pumping his hot lead bullets into the beating hearts of helpless victims. And after a successful raid, he would boast and declare himself invisible. Derico Nwamama seems to have placed a lot of faith and confidence in the sham prepared for him by the traditional witch doctors. Indeed, Governor Chinwoke Mbadinuju, the then governor of Anambra State, was not the only one worried about the reign of terror perpetrated by Derico Nwamama, as even President Olusegun Obasanjo was enraged that the criminal was left to unleash terror in a part of Nigeria. The police were helpless and had lost so many men to the dreaded Derico Nwamama and seemed to be powerless and couldn't do anything to bring him and his gang to justice. In May 2001, the Anambra State Police Command launched an operation against Derico Nwamama, which was aimed at capturing Derico and his gang members at all costs. The police managed to arrest some of Derico's men, but he was still elusive as he kept operating with reckless abandon, robbing, killing, and kidnapping innocent Nigerians. In December 2000, Derico Nwamama and his gang committed the worst crime known to man to date. They attacked a 59-seater luxurious bus filled with passengers at the popular Opiweka in Onitsha, Anambra State. The bus was about to leave for Lagos. After robbing every single person in the bus, they decided to kill everybody on board, including women and children. And mercilessly, the devil himself, that is Derico Nwamama, gave the orders, and his men shot all the passengers and left them to death. Only 4 persons survived the tragic ordeal. After that horrible incident, the then governor of Anambra State, Chinwoke Mbadinuju, didn't have any other choice but to bring in the dreaded Bakassi boys to help save the state. On Tuesday, July 3rd, 2001, Derico Nwamama was on a bus going from Agbo to Onitsha. On getting to the Onitsha axis of the head bridge, the dreaded Bakassi boys stopped the bus, but sensing danger, the crime lord jumped the window to run away. But before he could make the move, the nearest Bakassi member on the scene chopped off his left ear, and that was how Derico Nwamama was captured. And for a man who thought he was above the law and could not be captured, it was funny how he started crying and pleading for his life. He was taken to Boromeo Hospital for treatment because he was bleeding profusely. When news of his capture broke out, every single human being in Anambra State celebrated his capture as if it was the second coming of Christ. Indeed, Derico Nwamama met his end in an awful manner. Before then, the Bakassi boys had developed a terrible and blood-chilling reputation for dealing with suspects, and Derico's days were surely numbered from when he was caught. On the 9th of July 2001, 6 days after Derico was captured at the Niger Bridge, the Bakassi boys did to him what many had earlier predicted. Chanting war songs, they drove in their convoy around the town and ended at the Ochanja market along the popular Opiweka road in Onitsha. As their buses came to a halt, shouts of excitement and expectation rented the air. Many knew the fate that would befall Derico, so they all trooped to the spot to witness the final judgment on Derico. Derico Nwamama was dragged out from the bus looking gaunt and severely beaten, a trademark of the vigilante group. His body bore cuts and gashes, a testament to what he must have gone through in their hands. He must also have known that the day of reckoning has come. He was in obvious pain, but no one seemed to care, still chanting war songs and egged on by the enchanted crowd. One of the commanders of the Bakassi boys, named Okwompi, addressed the crowd, telling them they were in the state not for politics but to fight crime. He handed over the microphone to the now trembling Derico, who like a coward began begging for his life to be spared. He made feeble attempts at declaring himself innocent. Here are his words. My name is Odi, alias Derico, alias Nwamama. I appeal to you, the people of Anambra State. Please don't kill me. I don't like evil. It was when I killed Shejina that people thought I am a strong guy. I am not. I trust Bakassi boys. They are strong. Please have mercy on me. Nobody can identify me as having robbed him or her. People just believe that I'm a strong guy. He confessed that while he was on the run, he was sheltered by a member of the National Assembly in Abuja. He also confessed that he had two other powerful protectors, one being a member of the Anambra State House of Assembly, while the other was the chairman of a local government council. What was to follow remains one of the most macabre display of public executions in Nigeria. A cutlass handled in a strong arm of one of the Bakassi boys flew and came down with an unforgiving tug, landing on Derico's slim neck. In a flash, Derico was beheaded. His severed head rolled on the floor before the crowd, while his convulsing body collapsed on the ground, with bright red blood gushing from his carotid arteries. It was as if a sacrifice to the gods had just taken place. The crowd was satisfied, and as far as the Bakassi boys were concerned, that was a clear lesson and message to any criminal bent on making life miserable for the Anambarians. With the lifeless remains of Derico still lying on the ground, the people erupted in jubilation, patting one another on the back and exchanging mutual congratulations. That was not the end. Razor-sharp machetes flew from different directions and chopped his pitiful remains into sizable chunks. Derico's mangled remains were heaped up, properly rinsed with fuel and set on fire. After his death, a lot of movies about him was produced by Nollywood, such as Isakaba, End of the River, Derico Nwamama, and many more. Derico Nwamama has been described by the media as the most dangerous armed robber in Igbo history.